Hi everybody, welcome back to Spruverse, my scale model universe, and here we are on update number 5. I think there's going to be 6 in this series of Build the Orca from the 1975 motion picture Jaws, starring of course Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and the incredible Robert Shaw. And this kit, this all-resin kit, was from an incredible artist by the name of Bill Wiega. You can check him out at billwiega.com. And this is, of course, my challenge with World of Wayne, the great Wayne Green over in the UK in Corby, a very dear friend. And hi, Mrs. World of Wayne. This has just become a great family of builders, and I just couldn't be more excited to get here. There's so much to talk about that I don't really know where to start, so I'm just going to dive in. I've sort of put it like this for you, so that you can really start to see how it's coming together. The pulpit actually sits like this. And you can see here that what I've got to do is I've got to actually attach this to the front. I haven't done it yet because I am still weathering. But I wanted to point something out to you because I thought it was rather interesting. So in looking at various different photos and reference photos of the actual model that Bill Wiega built and I discovered at Wonderfest last year, he put this little block of wood here, and I've done the same. And the reason why is because it actually helps locate and hold down in the right position your pulpit. Now it doesn't ultimately affect anything, and you won't really see it. But what we are doing is we're weathering all of this underneath, and so I'm leaving this off while I actually do that. I'm continuing to sort of play with all kinds of different things here. You can see I'm sort of playing with weathering. I've taken the base color, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's this one. It's our XF76 green, and that's sort of the universal standard color that we're using. And from there, I'm adding all kinds of sepias and washes and different things like this. Now, there is a company in the UK actually called Flory Models, and they have a clay-based wash that I think is pretty good, and I've been trying to play with that a little bit, because if it doesn't work, water takes it right off, so it doesn't really stain. Whereas when you use enamel washes or things like that, the second you touch it, you're in a world of hurt. Because unless you've actually clear coated it, you know, with an acrylic varnish, a little dab of the enamel, you can get away with taking it off, but just in very small places. If you continue to rub, you're going to take all the paint off, and you're just in a world of hurt. You just keep going backwards. Now, I have put all the barrels on because I think this is kind of interesting. And I don't know if Wayne picked up on this, but I've picked up on it. And that is that I think, not that it matters, by the way, but because it is what it is, unless you wanted to do a major fix, which you certainly could do, and I'm thinking about it. And that is because these barrels, let me get you closer here, these barrels are actually in the wrong place on this model. Now, the reason why that's kind of is what it is because when I lift these up, you can see underneath, you should be able to see, actually you won't from this angle, you will from this, you will from this angle. We've got these pins that are establishing pins for where things are supposed to go on the kit, which is really, you know, it's helpful on one level. And on another level, it's kind of frustrating because it just means you've got a bloody great dent in the kit if it's not where you want something exactly. I'm not complaining, I'm just sort of pointing this out, because when you look at reference pictures, not only of the original boat that Bill built, but you also look at the filming model, this, interestingly enough, right here, this barrel, this first barrel here in the back, should be forward to about there-ish, so that then all the other barrels come out. They should come out to about there. I'm not going to do a very good job here, but they should come out a lot further. Now, not that far, but they should come out a lot further. And then there is some gack behind here, and I built the gack that actually belongs back there, and I'll show you that on 3 here. It's this, which in they're what I think they are actually supposed to be cork floats for fishing nets. And in what is supposed to happen is they're supposed to be back here. Now this is supposed to lay on there like this, and there's supposed to be all kinds of netting behind there. Now, if I hadn't have pointed that out to you, you probably would not have even noticed. But I noticed, and it's actually bugging me. What I've done is just to experiment, and I'll show you here. I've actually, you can see this one has a pin and this one doesn't have a pin because I've sanded it off. And what that essentially allows you to do is when you you can actually put these wherever you want on the kit, and it allows you to sort of slide these forward. So what I think I'm going to do, is I'm actually going to fill in these plugs, and I'm going to place the first barrel where it is supposed to be, which is about there. That is screen accurate. And then if I sand off the rest of them, I can actually take this out to here, and I think I'm in much better shape. Now, I'm going to hopefully I'm going to have a consultation call with Wayne, and we will discuss that. But by the time this comes out, this video, we will probably have already made a decision. Oh, and by the way, can I just stop and say Happy New Year to everybody. I apologize. What an awesome opportunity to be with you in 2022. And I do hope it's a healthy, happy new year for everybody. But anyway, I was remiss in welcoming you that way. I apologize. But anyway, that's that. Now, what I have done is, in the meantime, I have built this, which is the stanchion that is going to hold the barrels in place. And that actually goes... it drops in like this, about here. It slides in, there, like that, and it sits about like that. It'll go back a little further, obviously, but it sits there, and that is correct. And that obviously needs to get cleaned up, and it needs a little more weathering. I've got a little more rope to put on it and some gack and all kinds of things like that. But that is why you have that. And so that's good to go. I'm going to put that back over here. And so that's the story of the barrels. And I thought it was an interesting kind of thing, because I am trying to be as canon as possible. I've taken some 2mm by, it's very thin copper strips, and I'll show you here. I've put them in their correct location at the top of the windows. What that is exactly, or I think is what it is supposed to be, interestingly enough, is hinges. Because these windows actually, they're supposed to open. And so, so that's what they are. They're supposed to be the hinges for those. Now, I've not put any hinge-like activity on that yet, but I will. And then I've got just a little more weathering to do on the front here, on this area here. I've done a little bit of weathering. But a lot of this, unfortunately, the camera's just not going to pick up. Some of it will, but some of it won't. But it's, you know, it's footprints, it's mud. What I haven't done yet is seawater, which is that, you know, that crusty sort of white salt. I haven't done that. I've done some of it, and I will show you some of that. I've been sort of busy doing lots of other things. So while I'm here, let me show you what I've been doing with my goodie bag here. I'll put it in, get my head out the way, and I'll put it here so you can see in my tray. I have been building these hooks here, and what they do cleverly is they're going to actually sit on the boat. Now, if I turn the boat towards us right here, you can see where these sit. They're going to sit right there. Right there. They hook into these little hooks that I've built, and I've made those. And I've made them for both sides. There's 3 on one side, and there are 2 on the other side. So those are completed. I've also completed all of the various different spikes and rods. And I'll show you just a sort of sampling of that while we're here. Let me go to my extreme camera here, and I'll show you these. These are the rods, and what they're going to do is they actually sit, and if I turn this, you'll actually see, they sit in these holders here that I have made. Oh, the paint doesn't want to, there it goes. Okay, this is where you got to be careful, because you know you're trying to do something for camera, and you could just really put yourself in a world of hurt. But I wanted to show you this because I think it's cool. So they will slide ultimately in there like that. There you go. And I can get some more light on that for you, so you can see that that's where that sits. So that's working really well, and so I'm really happy with that. And I've got 3 of those for one side, and I've got 2 for the other side. And I think what they were ultimately, obviously, is there are all kinds of different tools that you can use for jabbing at your fish and trying to hook them and bring them on board. So I think that's what that was all about. Let me see, what else did I want to show you? Blah 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 blah. I've got I've made my fishing rods. Here's one. These go behind the door. I'll show you where these are going to go, because I'm going to turn the boat around for you. I'm going to turn the boat around. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. And these are going to go behind the door right here. And they're actually going to sit in these little loops. I'll lean that there for now. Now I'm going to be able to gingerly, you can see that sitting there. I'm going to be able to gingerly park all 3 of those there. And I'll show you, this is what they look like close up. There it is. And I've built 4 of those. I built 3 for behind the door, and I have built 1 for Quint's chair. And a lot of discussion about Quint's chair, and I do appreciate all the comments. People are going, yeah, put the chair there, don't put the chair there. But I think ultimately I'm going to set it up in such a way that I can put the chair there and remove the chair as I need to. So I'm not too worried about it, but I think it was important to build the chair and to build the fishing rod that actually goes with that chair. So I'm doing that. And the other thing I wanted to show you is this rod right here. There are 2 of those. I've built on either side here. Let me show you. You can see it there. And I fashioned those out of small pieces of aluminum tubing. I've used a rubber band to create that white cap at the top, and I found a little kind of brass cog, if you can believe it, in my goofy watch parts box. I've got some of the strangest stuff, but I think it's definitely, you know, one of those things where it's like, wow, it's worth it. Because you never know what you're going to need in this hobby, right? I've also built, and you can see it here, and I'll take it off and I'll show it on close up here, the barrel. Now we think this is the barrel that actually Roy Scheider sits up in the cabin, and there is some equipment on top of it. Now in the film, the front of that piece of equipment actually should have a little lens on it, like a little gauge. Now curiously enough, it was printed with the gauge on the side. So our gauge is right here. It's not in the front where it should be, and I don't know if that was a mistake or whatever, or whether it was, because the way this sits in its peg, it should be in the front, not in the side. Now I could sand all that down and create something in the front, but I haven't decided whether I'm going to do that or not. But it sits here. So there's an awful lot of gunk that you can see. Here, let me show you here on this camera, so you can see it sitting, and I'm really happy with it. You can see it's starting to fill up. Here is all of the components for the shark cage. Now they really clutter the front, and then there's the oxygen tanks and the ballast tanks for the shark cage, and they all go behind this ladder, which I haven't glued in yet, and it's sort of sitting in its correct place. And you can see I haven't actually attached this yet. Here is, of course, obviously the exhaust pipe for the engine, and that sits here. And everything has been appropriately weathered, and so I'm very happy with that. So there we go. I mean, there's an awful lot going on, and I could go on and on and on, but I won't, because I want to move on to something else. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to carefully unpack all of this and prepare us for the next part of this conversation, okay? Okay, so I've cleaned everything off the boat for us so that we could really start to focus on the next challenge, which is to, it's actually to accurately figure out just exactly where this lamp goes. Now, I've got this lamp all wired up. My lights come from Evans Design, a great company out of the East Coast, great for dolls' houses, train layouts, and of course for us model builders. And I was turned on to them by Lou Del Mesa. Hi, Lou. And anyway, that's where I go. And you can get things that are pre-resisted, not resisted. But the incredible thing about this company is they really care about making sure that what they send you works. So, you know, are you resisting something, not resisting it? So, you know, when you order a bunch of stuff and it looks like they think you're trying to put something together, they want to make absolutely sure that you're getting what it is you need to light your kit, your model, your train, your dollhouse. So I just can't say enough about them. But here we go. And what I've got here is I've got just a regular battery pack. Here it is. It's just a regular battery pack. Two 1.5 AA, so that's 3 volts. I've got one 5 mil LED just going through it. That's it, just one. So it doesn't need to be resisted. It handles the 3 volts perfectly. And I've got this little switch here, and that comes with it. So you turn this on and you can see my little light is litted, as they say. So and that is going to live inside here, and it's going to just shine some light on the kit. Now let me see if I can, yes I can. You can see right from this angle that it's putting quite a bit of light down on the inside of this. So I'm very happy with that. So all I need to do, obviously, is center this in the cabin, which I've kind of already done. And I'll put a couple of brass loops in the back here. I've still got some washes and some painting to do on the underneath of this. And I'll put a brass ring for it, and then that will loop it over to the corner right here. All the way into this corner, and then I'll take it down, drill a hole through the boat, and it will go directly down and out the bottom of the keel, and it will live, this wire will live on the base, which I will show you in a minute. But the reason why I did that is because I have built a little box for the Flybridge. Here it is. Here's my little box that I built for the Flybridge, and it's pretty close. It's pretty accurate, and scale-wise, it's pretty correct. However, if you were to build a box of that scale and size for the Flybridge, which is where we talked about possibly putting our battery. Wayne is correct when he said a little 12 volt would go in this, and you could possibly do that. I was really concerned about drilling holes up into the Flybridge and having something there that if a battery had to be changed, I've got so much gack and little stuff going on up there. I'm even going to put some rope up there. There's some rope and some other junk that I'm going to be putting up there. I just didn't want to be messing with it, to be honest with you. I was so afraid that with my fat fingers, the first time I tried to change the bulb or do something with it, or if it wasn't working, I was in a world of hurt. So I decided against that, and I have gone with, as I said, just a sort of a basic 3 volt setup here with a simple switch, and I've built a box for it. Here's the box, and what I've done is I've built a box out of essentially 2 mil plastic card, and I have veneered the whole thing with these incredible mahogany strips that I found. Now, I know that Wayne was kind enough to send me some really nice mahogany, which I promise will be used at some point in some build. But this is 0.050. This is half a millimeter in thickness. And I just cut strips to length, and then I've stained them appropriately with my mahogany stain. And as you can see, what happens is this slides into this nicely. Now I'll probably build a cover for it, and I'll show you how this is going to live on the stand, which will be the last thing we do before we sign off on this particular update. So that's my single light. It's going to be here. I think it's going to add enough warmth to this area that I'm very happy with it, and I think I'm going to be fine. And then I've just got to obviously start figuring out where everything goes. I've got all the dressing for the interior here, and I'm happy to start showing you some of those things. I've got my toolbox and my books, and they will live, they live there. I've got my little yellow igloo, which I probably most likely had water in it, I would assume, and that's going to live there. Here, let me get you inside so you can see what I'm doing. So there you go. So toolbox, books, yellow igloo. On the other side is the pipe. Now, what was pointed out to me by a subscriber, his name is Jesse. Jesse, if you're watching this, thank you so much for all of your help. What a lovely gentleman, and so kind enough to share with me some amazing photos, and explain to us actually that what was going on was that the Flybridge cables were essentially hit by this pipe. So I don't think there was a linkage in there for the steering wheel, but I do think that this pipe hit all of those wires, and that's why they did it. Now, originally in the production stills, there was supposed to be a continuation of this up on the Flybridge. It didn't happen. It didn't make it into the filming boats. Either they just gave up, they forgot about it, it was too late, I don't know. But it didn't make it, and so we do think that the wheel up top was not steerable. You could only actually drive and steer the boat from inside the cabin. That's what we think. But anyway, this is going to go here. I've got my depth sounder in the corner. There's going to be a whole bunch of gack. I've got lots of fun things to go in there. I've got some maps. I've got all kinds of maps and things, and they're here. They've not been essentially cut to size yet, but they will be, and they're going to go here like this. You know, they'll sort of they'll gack up. My fingers are in the way, I apologize, but they're going to go. They'll be cut to size, and they'll be put up there along with some other junk. And so then that takes us round to the other side, and what happens on the other side is you have the cooktop, which sits there, and the steering column, the downstairs steering column that sits like so. And so you can start to see that this is really coming together. Now I've got lots of details and stuff that I've got to play with there, but it's really going to come together. And I've got a hammock that I'm going to hang from the other side. But let me show you. Oh, that's not good. Here is the cooktop, and that sits in there. I've got some other junk and some cans, and so it really starts to come alive. And that is all of the detail work. The chum buckets are made for the exterior. Everything is basically built and ready to go. Now it's just a matter of details, washes, and some other things. I've got a cable that I'm going to have to run to the microphone here, and I've got some other bottles and other junk that I'm going to print out of clear resin, I think, to get some clear bottles. But I'm happy with them, and I have been using a lot of the things that came with the kit, only because I wanted to keep it as original and as Bill had designed it as possible. But that was just my choice. Again, the fun thing about this build is you can do whatever you want, and so that is where we are with the with this boat. So let me finish here by gingerly, I would say, putting some of this stuff away and removing these pieces so I don't make a fool of myself, because I'm very easy. It's easy for me to break things. As I said to you, I have to be really careful because sometimes I don't stop to think, and that is a problem. So anyway, let me get those out the way, the banquette out the way, the table out the way, and so the boat now is relatively safe to move, and I'm going to move it. So let me just step out of camera for 1 second while you look at a completely blank screen, and in comes the base. Here is the base, and this has been fashioned out of a piece of MDF that has been turned on a wood lathe. And what I've done is I've used a memory gauge. And for those of you who do not know what a memory gauge is, everybody should have a memory gauge in their setup. This is a memory gauge. It comes in various different sizes, and it has a lock on it. And when you unlock it and you stick an object into it, it actually brilliantly exactly mirrors the mark. Isn't that clever? So what I did was I used my memory gauge on the hull of the boat, and that got me these perfect stanchions, and then I was able to cut them on my bandsaw, and I've stained them appropriately with the mahogany, and that lives. They will live there, and then as you can see quite cleverly, it disappears. This box will sit either on the front or the back side of this model, and this I will make sure that this switch neatly lives underneath the boat. When you put the hole on it, it all disappears, and of course these wires will travel up into the boat, and obviously our light is at the end, and that is all we're using. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dress this up with some ropes, an anchor, a whole bunch of gack, that just to give it some interest. And then we will have to find a plaque for this, obviously in metal, that says the Orca from the motion picture Jaws. I'll probably have something engraved or inscribed. And that is where we are. I continue to work on minor details. I'm using my AK interactive pencils, as I've showed you in my previous my previous catch-up, that they are doing a fantastic job at mimicking chips and stains and all kinds of stuff like that. So I'm working with all of that, and I'm just going to continue to play and play and play until I think I just can't do anymore, or it's diminishing returns. But visually it's a feast, and I couldn't be more happier with this thing, and I'm so excited to be able to have the Orca in my collection. So the next time we get together, this boat will be complete. How about that? it will be complete. But I don't know when we're going to do that particular episode, because I'm going to wait for Wayne, and we'll do the reveals together. But you know, I was a little ahead of him, obviously. But I have to, well, I am going up to Oregon for a week, so I won't be able to touch this at all. So I'm hoping that gives him a little bit of a chance to sort of get ready, but and catch up with me. But I'm assuming like February, March is probably when we will do the reveals. If we do them sooner, awesome. I will do some tease updates on my Instagram at Spruverse. So I will tease this a little bit, and I'm going to obviously take as many photos as I can. But this is all about a live reveal together, and that's what we'll do. So I hope this was informative, and you feel like you got something out of it. As always, I can't thank everybody enough for subscribing and being a part of this journey with me. I'm excited about 22. There's a lot coming down the pike. And so until we get together again, as always, I wish everybody well. Be well, please. Be safe. Build something. Hi, Wally Pasternak, and I'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. Be well.